We're back, people, and today we're taking a look at the Raiders offense to see how the Miami Dolphins can shut them down. New rookie quarterback Aiden O'Connell has started over the last couple of weeks. They have some good weapons with Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, Jacoby Myers is also another good player. I think the key to this game is definitely just staying ahead of it, like on early downs, stopping the run. I think if they're able to make some of the second downs, third downs, some obvious passing situations, the edge, the defensive line should be able to get to the quarterback, make him feel uncomfortable, get some pressure on the rookie, and then I also see them running some like either or coverages, get some bracketing going on Devontae Adams, giving him sort of that Kelsey treatment, depending on where he lines up, of course, but they will target him. O'Connell really likes to go his way. I think the first 3 plays of the game, I think he got all 3 targets to Adams, and it's definitely going to be a part of their game plan. But definitely I think stopping the run is the biggest key, because if you allow your guys to get after O'Connell, I think they can create some turnovers, let the secondary, do what they do and what they've been playing best. But I think if they get the pressure up front is really where they're going to be able to turn this over. And you can see if they'll get some one-on-one matchups on the outside to Adams, like they're playing single high here, and they're cheating the safety over to Adams' side and then playing one-on-one really here to this side. They're still going to take this to Devontae a lot of the times, even on, early downs, and then stopping the run. They're going to run the ball a lot. That is a very, very key part of the game. 3rd and 4 situation, they did this multiple times in this game. They would, bunch it up on one side, have Adams on this side, and then they would run mesh. And the Dolphins have kind of struggled with some underneath crossers this year. Jets did a good job playing basically man-to-man across the board. They were just not afraid. Don't love a lot of the Raiders' concepts on these 3rd and short situations, but they're going to try to get these drags going. Dolphins either, whether they're in man, have to stick with it, or if they're playing like some match zone, pass these things off, have good communication, because they struggled with this all season long. Literally, like, the only touchdown they gave up, or like after that first drive in the Chiefs game, was on like a mesh situation to the running back. Someone forgot to cover McKinnon. Definitely need to be more disciplined in this area, because they will try to do this on these 3rd and short situations for sure. Also not afraid, run some play action and then hit some 2-man route concepts. Raiders rookie's been pretty solid, but sometimes he has like dropped his eyes when he's get some pressure on him, and he got kind of lucky in this game avoiding some of these pressures. But definitely just got to be able to distribute these routes on the back end. They'll hit the play action, and then they'll have that 2-man route concept, and they run cover 3. They try to pass this off, but Adams just gets there deep. It pulls both of these guys, this route right there. Just route distribution, which I feel a lot more like these plays are going to happen, obviously, but I do feel more comfortable with the Dolphins defense having Elliott, Holland back there as the safeties, with Howard and Ramsey at corner, the nickel being Kohu. I feel very comfortable with the secondary, and you just got to be understanding of your responsibilities on the back end. One thing I have noticed with O'Connell is he does try to like really get the ball out on time, so he can be a little bit like, once he hits that back foot, don't be afraid to get downhill, like especially with some of these route concepts. Like they get the interception here, and we've seen like they'll throw it deep, they'll get it going, but sometimes they're very basic with the route concept. If no one's running deep, they just have a lot of guys just sort of running spot routes, sits, guys running to the flat. It can be very basic. Not a huge fan of a lot of their play calling from time to time. So they run quarters here, the Jets, and they just have their safety just sits on this the whole way. Would not mind to see the Dolphins getting aggressive, just depending on situational football, because O'Connell will hit that back foot and let it rip. He doesn't want to get hit back there, and he tries to throw it with some timing for a rookie. And on that specific play, that's how you can kind of make them pay for those situations. Stopping no run. Very, very important. On 1st and 10 situations, getting into the backfield, slowing down Jacobs. Jacobs hasn't been as dominant this season, but I think he's, gotten more of the load and looked better the past couple weeks since getting rid of McDaniels. I still think, there's some things that he could work on, but just gap responsibility. Dolphins have been much better versus the run, winning some one-on-one matchups. Like, here's what happens with, the Jets. They work some duo combo blocks right here, and they just win the one-on-one on the backside with this edge defender. They bring a lot of people downhill. They do like to run the ball a lot, so I think on those 1st and 10, don't mind being out there in base looks in this game. A lot of their most effective plays are these shots down the field, not like, super vertical, but like getting the ball to Devontae Adams, having people run some clear outs. They just have the number 2 clear out space, and then throwing the dig behind to Adams. We saw them work with this on a deeper cross. Now the digs. This is where they're going to kind of make that money. O'Connell actually does a pretty good job on all these concepts with the timing of these things. We just got to get, I think, pressure up front is the key thing if they're going to take this many drops. Not even play action in this certain situation. They'll do it out of play action, do it out of non-play action. Pressure will be very, very key, and you can see he makes a nice tight window throw. But then they get the sack on the next play. They take away his first read. He doesn't like what he sees to Adams. He's going to look to Adams a lot, and sometimes when he does that, if he has to like get off of it and he feels some pressure on his face, he kind of will just take the hit, drop his eyes for a second. There was like a few times in this game where he would drop his eyes and then the guy would just completely whiff him, and then he'd like get back up and make a throw down the field. So I think if you get that initial pressure and just actually, get to him underneath, take away that first read to Devontae, because they're going to try to throw. I hope they're running a lot of these sit routes, because clearly that's where the interception came. Just very basic stuff, not hard for the defense to cover. Then they get another sack up front, running some twists, some stunts, getting to O'Connell. He's not very athletic back there. He's definitely more of a pocket passer. So forcing him to move off his spot, he tries to escape here. He's just not, athletic enough. Trying to throw on his first read. They're working a lot of game up here, people looping around, things like that. And I think that will basically, you make O'Connell uncomfortable after stopping the run, and the defense should have a field day. It's a 3rd and 10. They get the ball, towards midfield again, and they still run the ball. Like, doesn't really work here in this specific situation because he trips down, but they still will run the ball in situations where it's probably, an obvious passing situation from time to time. So I think it's definitely something to be aware of. They do have a rookie quarterback. This thing is not out of the cards. Like, they're still more likely to pass than not, but definitely just gap responsibility. Force them to make some move. Jacobs trips on himself, but they were coming downhill. I think, DBs getting involved too is very important. He'll try to make some cuts to the outside. That's definitely something Josh, with his vision, cutting capability, is going to definitely attempt. They get another sack on O'Connell here. Jets do a very good job. They take away his read to Devontae. If you just, literally, he looks at Devontae a lot. They try to hit him with this double move here. They cover it up perfectly. And then once that's taken away, you get the sack. You get the pressure. They do a very good job just collapsing this pocket underneath. Definitely something I think the Dolphins defensive line will be capable of, and will be just really where they make, the total difference. I think O'Connell has struggled with taking some sacks in his limited games. I know, Khalil Mack had 6 against him or something. And then the Jets were definitely able to get after him. And with how the Dolphins defense is playing, I feel pretty good about how they'll perform. As I showed earlier, the drags, the mesh, the underneath stuff, this time it's 3rd and 9, not 3rd and 4. But they're going to try to throw this. I know Adams wants to flag there for a little bit of tugging from Sauce. But you can see this is what they're going to try to do, especially in different situations. Jets were, playing more man-to-man match concepts, and Dolphins are going to be probably playing a little more zone match type things. So they got to be able to pass this off. They've struggled with it all season long. This is where I think they could get really hurt versus the Raiders on these types of plays. They wasn't effective at all versus New York, but Miami, it's probably one of their weaker points of covering a specific type of play across the defense. The 2nd and 10, and Jacobs hits the big run. He kind of got shut down for most of the day, and then he finally hits the hole. Got to be able to tackle at the second level. Going for strips and things like that is fine. He's definitely, they strip him at the end, but he also broke a tackle from the initial play. They like to run duo, where he's just reading these guys. He sees the safety hitting down to this hole, bounces this back. Good vision. So it's going to be very, very important. When they run duo, that means Wilkins and Sealer are going to be getting doubled a lot, and they do like to run some duo. So the linebackers and DBs are very important. Typically, you're reading the mic, so whatever Long does, it can hurt them, because Long likes to shoot a gap, so then he'll try to bounce it to the other one. Everyone else just has to be fitting into the run, and DB's got to make some tackles. They have to. They go for the strip there. It doesn't work. I don't mind going for the strip, but because he gets it out there at the end, punch it out. He definitely will get loose with it down the field. But you gotta still wrap up if you're gonna, miss that initial punch. Last play, they run breakdown. This was the Raiders' only touchdown in this Jets game. Kind of just chucking it up to Michael Mayer. His first read to Devontae Adams. Again, his first read is Devontae Adams a lot. Way more than Garoppolo's was. Garoppolo liked to go to Jacoby Myers. And Jacoby Myers has a good season, but he's been definitely less effective. They'll mainly get Jacobs and Adams involved. So taking away Adams as your first read, I think, which I feel better about the corners now going against him one-on-one. But I also think with Fangio, he's going to design some things up. But then after you take away that first read, you got to get the pressure and finish, because now he's allowed to escape the pocket and kind of chuck it up and get that touchdown to Mayer. These types of situations I feel are pretty avoidable. Like that's definitely something you can avoid when, because they actually do a good job initially. Like the process of play wasn't too bad. It's just the final result was not what you wanted. Just finish up front. That's really what it comes down to. Stop the run. Let the D line and edge feast in obvious passing situations. Don't allow him to skip the pocket, because if he has to come off his first read, I do feel very comfortable with what the Dolphins can accomplish defensively. So guys, with the video, which if you like, subscribe, and let's get peace.